I think we all know those optical illusions where someone sees one thing and someone else sees something else, right? Is this a young woman or an old woman? Are those two people about to kiss or a cup? Is this a skull or a group of naked women? Well, I think the whole COVID thing is the same. Some people see one thing and some people see another thing, and there is no way to reach an agreement. Either you know instinctively that something was wrong about the whole thing or you don't. And if you don't, there's nothing that I can do to convince you otherwise. Now, for me, almost from the beginning, things felt strange. I mean, the whole thing about lockdowns and social distancing and masks and all those things that we never did for any other disease were just odd. Now, for some people, this meant that, oh, this is a real pandemic and all these things are necessary to keep us safe. But for me, I don't know. I hated masks, I hated lockdowns, and it didn't seem that any of those things had any effect or made people safer in any way. It was just pandemic theater. And I still think that's mostly what it was. And in fact, now, 2 years later, we find out about studies saying things that we were saying like since 2020, that masks and lockdowns were basically useless against COVID. Why do it then? Well, see, the objective was not to prevent COVID. The real objective was to make people really scared in order to promote two things: the new mRNA vaccines and digital passports. That's what it was about. They had these new technologies that they wanted to use anyway, and COVID gave them the perfect excuse. Now, about the vaccines, I'm not necessarily against them. I mean, I think now I think that they are mostly a scam, but I mean, I think they could be part of an approach against a disease. Vaccines and other treatments, they should be options. But I dislike the fact that they were promoted by coercion and by lies. Remember, first they said, oh, this is 99% safe and effective. Then they said, oh, well, it's 95, then 85%. It's just one vaccine to end the pandemic, right? One dose and you'll never have or transmit COVID. Then it was 2 doses, then 3, then 4, and it didn't end the pandemic. You could have and transmit COVID anyway. And then they had those stupid rules or not allowing people to use transportation or go to a restaurant or even go to work without a vaccine certificate. A vaccine that did not even prevent contagion. So what was the purpose of that? There was only one purpose, and they even admit it. It was to force people to vaccinate, regardless of the effects. And all those rules, and lockdowns too, the same thing, and all these rules were useless. The only thing that provenly reduced cases was summer. There were less people sick in summer and more people sick in winter. That was it. And just like the flu, cold, or any other respiratory disease, more cases in winter, less cases in summer. Now, most countries are relaxing the rules, even though you still cannot travel to the US without vaccine proof, and in Canada, I think you still can't do even domestic travel without vaccine proof, but still it's ending, slowly ending. Now, are restrictions coming back in the winter? Maybe, but I think most people are so tired of the whole thing that I doubt they can pull it off. Especially if the economy continues going south. I doubt many people will be happy with new restrictions on top of that. You know, I think everyone feels that it lasts way too long. I mean, even the Spanish flu, it lasted only 2 years, right? But who knows? I mean, we're dealing with psychopaths here, right? I mean, they are now trying to give the vaccine to babies and to small children who rarely even have symptoms. And of course, they are going to continue pushing for mRNA vaccines. Maybe they will remake all the older vaccines into mRNA because it seems to be cheaper or faster. And of course, they are going to continue with the digital passport thing. Maybe this time it's not going to be for COVID, maybe it's going to be for monkeypox or for global warming or whatever, but I'm sure they're going to continue with that. But anyway, I just hope this whole thing really ends forever. And whether you believe in restrictions or not, whether you believe in the vaccines or not, I think we can all agree that we had enough. Right? Right?